Hello everyone, welcome to the Concern Podcast, where we unpack political, social, economic, and cultural stories shaping our world. I'm Emmanuel Taban. Now today, after a very long time, I sat down and started thinking of all the major decisions that have been made by the SPLM in government or by President Kiir. I tried to look at them logically. I tried to analyze them. And I try also to analyze the intentions for all these decisions. And one thing came in my mind. And that thing is, there appears to be a deliberate move by the SPLM in government, very intentional move by the president to take the country back to war. I mean, we have heard it from the president himself, not once, not twice, but so many times, that he will never again take the country back to war. I know the president might not take the country back to war while knowing, but the decisions that he has been making of late, if these decisions are made through the help of the advisors that are around him, then he's going to take the country back to war unknowingly, while not knowing. And in this video, I want to tell you some of the steps that I feel are deliberately made in order to take the country back to war. You know, and I'm just going to explain it logically and why I feel this is a well-planned strategy of taking the country back to war. One is that we all know that early last year, around March, there was an incident that happened in Nasir. And the incident that happened in Nasir, it led to clashes and people were killed. A major general was killed. And later on, there was suspicion that Machar was behind it and his colleagues. And because of that, it led to the arrest of Machar. He was arrested, detained in his home, and those who were allied to him, those who were his close allies, were arrested and jailed. That is one big step, one big signal that can easily tell you that there is a deliberate move to take this country back to war, because we all understand what will be the perception of people who are strong supporters of Machar. Obviously, they will not be okay. As if it is not enough, after detaining Machar, they created charges against him. They created a court that will actually run the prosecution of Machar. And up to now, there appears to be an ending trial of Machar. And that trial against Machar seems to have been planned. And the major intention for that trial appears to keep him irrelevant and out of touch with his supporters, but also to wipe him away from the politics of the country. Because immediately when he was detained and the charges were made against him and the trial was made and continued to be done without ending, the SPLM in government decided that they will take the country towards an election. They will go for an election without the decision of Machar. And they know that Machar was a major principle in the peace agreement. So obviously, any decision that is done without Machar, we can all know and see that it is not a genuine decision. Perhaps Machar and his supporters would not be happy. And this election seems to have been made in rush, while the trial of Machar continues, so that they will have a very legal and legit explanation to keep Machar out of the ballot, because he's still being tried in the courts. And for that reason, the courts might deliver a verdict that says he's still on trial, he might not be qualified to vie in the elections. And again, that is one dangerous move. Imagine that an election is held, Machar is not on the ballot, and maybe President Kiir is announced the president for the next 5 years. And when he forms a government, we're not going to have a government of national unity. Machar is not going to be a vice president. The 4 vice presidents and the first vice president will all be erased. There will not be, a power sharing government or agreement. So you can imagine the kind of discomfort that this election is going to create on one side, and the kind of anger that is trying to accumulate on specific people, especially those allied to Machar. As if the decision to make these elections is not enough, the government went on recently and plaqued up the plaque of members of the cabinet that are Machar's allies. He removed them out and replaced them with some of individuals who are allied to someone who has broken away from the main SPLM-IO function. That is Stephen Parr. So you can also imagine the kind of anger that is being drawn here. As if it is not enough, just a few days ago, we've all heard the president saying, from now onwards, we're not going to have presidential decrees aired out on national television, on SSBC. And the plan here seems to be very straightforward. The intention seems to be very clear. The reason why the government is trying to ban this airing of decrees on SSBC is so that the president can get the luxury to appoint the people he wants without letting the public know, so that he can have that luxury to remove these people out, the people that he doesn't like to hold this position, and replace them with the ones that he likes. And the major target here appears to be the SPLM-IO members, those who are in government or in the power sharing government or the broad base or the unity government, who do not subscribe to President Kiir, who are strong ally to Vice President Machar. This move seems to be targeting them, so that the president can remove them anytime without the public know. And if the public doesn't know about them, of course, there will not be kind of discomfort created in them, simply because they won't know who is removed or who is appointed. And these are all dangerous moves. Removing members of the SPLM-IO mainstream, those allied to Machar, is a total violation of the peace agreement. And this move may anger Machar, may anger those allies that are close to him, may anger those people that already, there's so many SPLM-IO people or members who are already outside in the bush, they've defected, and they are causing some kind of hostilities in some parts of the country. So these moves by the government will only anger them more. And the more the government tries to anger them, the more they create lots of instability, and that is how the country will get back to war. Steps that appears done with no intention of taking the country back to war, but when you dig them deep, you will know that it's obviously going to create a kind of instability in the country. Just imagine an election being held in South Sudan without Machar being on the ballot. What will Machar supporters say? I mean, he commands a very huge group of people. What will these specific people do? Imagine that the election is held. Machar is not on the ballot. The results are released. Kiir is announced the president. The next day, the government of national unity is dismantled. No vice presidents, no SPLM-IO ministers, no Machar as first vice president for the next 10 or 5 years. This means Machar is being kept out of in the politics of the country. Look at that kind of anger that is being created in specific people. And do you think they will sit down comfortably and give flowers to Kiir? No, they won't do that. Obviously, they will have to go and fight. And these are very clear moves. So I feel the president, the SPLM government, should do better. And I feel that those who surround President Kiir as advisors should let him know about the dangers of some of the moves that he is trying to create. An election without SPLM-IO, an election without Machar, I mean, this appears to be doing something while knowing the impact. So this is how I feel that the SPLM government and President Kiir will take the country back to war. He may not know that he's taking the country back, but the decisions he's making will take the country back for sure. On our business section for today, are you a South Sudanese parent living in Uganda who desires to preserve your child's national identity, cultural values, and academic continuity without sending them back to South Sudan? Then worry no more. Excel International School proudly offers South Sudanese families in Uganda the opportunity to access the South Sudan national curriculum in a secure, nurturing, and academically enriching environment right in Uganda. As you pursue stability and opportunity in Uganda, your children can continue their education seamlessly following the South Sudan syllabus, guided by qualified, experienced teachers who understand both the academic standards and cultural foundations of South Sudan. At Excel, they deliver genuine South Sudan curriculum, strong moral and academic foundation, experienced and culturally grounded educators, safe and supporting learning environment, and convenient campuses both in Kampala and Arua. For the Kampala campus, they are located at Zambia opposite the American Embassy, or you can contact the principal at 077-168-2831 or 074-2288-712. And the Arua campus is located at Adalafu in Arua City, or you can contact the management at 077-3498-768. Admission for the 2026 and registration for the 2026 academic year is ongoing. Parents are encouraged to register early as places are limited. Give your children an education that connects them to home, heritage, and hope without borders. Excel International School. Fear God to excel.